For those of you who are new to my fertility scopes, my name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist and the founder of the Natural Fertility Company. And my team and I help couples who are preparing for conception, those who are overcoming fertility issue, and those who are preparing for medical fertility treatments through natural therapies and natural methods. So today's fertility scope is going to be how to recover from a miscarriage. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Many of you probably heard the background story in the previous scope, but this is going to be about how to recover from a miscarriage. And we work with all kinds of people, all kinds of couples from all over the world. And the hardest part about our job, you are so welcome for this scope. I'm glad that you're here. The hardest part about our job and the hardest thing that our staff goes through, and we do a lot of training to help them through this, is when our clients, customers, readers, viewers, anyone that we come in contact with is having a miscarriage. That happens to be one of the harder things that we work with. So this is, this is something that we help a lot of people through, and it's the hardest part of our job, but it's so essential. Something I want you guys to know about when you are going through a miscarriage, or that you've gone through one in the past, is that like 99% of the time, it's nothing that you did. It's something that we don't have complete control over. I did share things that you can do to help to prevent them, the things that you have control over in your own life that you can impact, and we've seen great success with that. So watch the video for all those details, but this one's going to be all about how to recover and heal post-miscarriage, okay? This is going to be a big topic. I have these pages for you for resources. So this class, you'll find the resources and links for everything mentioned here. bit.ly miscarriage recovery, okay? Take a screenshot of that. Take a screenshot. And then this one is from the previous class, bit.ly miscarriage prevention. So that's going to give you links to all the different things if you want to read more, if you want to take studies to your doctor, if you want to get any of the products or herbs that I am mentioning, take yourself a screenshot. All right. Okay, everyone set? Great. Okay, so how to recover from miscarriage. So once you're having a miscarriage and you're kind of in that space, it's a really, for a lot of people, it's a really tough time. It's a very dark time. And when you're on your fertility journey and maybe you've been on it for some time, or you've been trying and then you get pregnant and you have a miscarriage, sometimes people want to get back at it and back to it as soon as possible. And I totally understand that, because doing something feels better than doing nothing, right? But I want to suggest, or to just put the idea in there, to rest and to take some time and to process. Everyone reacts to miscarriages differently, but I know for those of you on your fertility journey, I could probably understand the way that you feel, or the reaction that you would have while having miscarriage, because I've personally had two. That is how my business actually started, was out of my frustration of no help from my doctor after having two miscarriages. Wouldn't do testing until I had a third, so on. You can listen to the whole story at the beginning of the last replay. But that can be quite frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some things with you that I think would be really helpful while recovering from a miscarriage, and how to come out of that, and how to support your body best, and how to get back on the journey when you are ready, and how to help process everything, okay? So the first is going to be, while you're having a miscarriage and you're recovering from one, is to eat nourishing foods. This needs to be a time that you're eating stews and soups and broths, and just very nourishing, almost like it's wintertime foods. The reason for this is it's not a time to start a new diet to lose weight. It's not a time to eat low fat. It's not a time to start some crazy, like doing raw foods, or some crazy change. You just need to eat some deeply nourishing foods to help nourish your body. It takes a lot to create the beginnings of a pregnancy. It takes a lot to create the placenta. It creates a lot. All those processes take a lot. So just eat nourishing foods. Those can be soups and smoothies. Indian food is kind of an example of very nourishing foods. Ayurvedic food. So you kind of know what I mean by nourishing foods. They just make you feel really good. And it's going to be different for everybody based on the culture that you're from and what was nourishing foods for you when you grew up. Second is going to be to use herbs to help with recovery. So herbs are your friend. There is an herb for everything. When I was younger, I would always look at plants and I'd be like, what is that good for? That has to be good for something. I always knew ever since I was little, like that plant's got to do something, or can I eat it, or what does that plant do? And I knew ever since I got my calling at 16, that this was my path. And so herbs, there's an herb for everything. So I will always include herbs when I'm talking about things, and especially with recovery. And these herbs are going to be very different from herbs that you normally hear me talk about, because these aren't fertility herbs. These are herbs that are going to help you with recovering from a miscarriage. So you should not use these while you're pregnant. So the first is going to be Angelica, Archangelica. So Angelica is a very beautiful, I wish I had a picture here with me, a very beautiful plant. And it's an excellent warming herb that increases circulation, dispels cold from the reproductive organs, and it's also relaxing to the nervous system, which is good at this time. Angelica is a beautiful, beautiful plant. It looks like an angel. So you can kind of think of that with doctrine of signatures, or you can think of that when you're using this plant or using this formula. Black cohosh is another herb that is good for helping to regulate the menstrual cycle. It's going to help get things back on track post-miscarriage, and it also helps with uterine weakness. It's strengthening and tonifying to the uterus. So black cohosh is not something we normally use during pregnancy, but post-miscarriage, this is going to be a useful herb. The next is going to be St. John's wort. I bet you guys have heard of St. John's wort. That's like the cool kid on the block for years now. It helps to reduce the emotions, depression, anxiety that comes along with a loss like this. So it's going to help to lift the spirit. It works pretty quickly. It also supports prevention of infection and is anti-inflammatory. The next herb is going to be yarrow. Yarrow is an astringent herb that helps to balance the uterine environment, and it helps to tighten tissues and to regulate the menstrual cycle. So it's going to help get things back on track. So it's more of an environment post-miscarriage using yarrow. And then the next is Vitex berry. Yes, Vitex. Vitex is going to have a balancing effect on the hormonal feedback loop, so it's going to help the hormones to get back on track, because when you've had a miscarriage, your progesterone levels are very high because you were pregnant, and then they drop down, and then your hormones are pretty messed up for a period of time. So it's going to help your cycle to get back on track, get everything regulating again. So all of these herbs I have in my formula called Recover Well, which I formulated specifically for recovering from miscarriage. So it's a comforting blend that helps the nervous system. It's helping the hormonal system get back on track, and it also helps uplift and support the spirit. Okay. Some other things that I would suggest in helping to recover from miscarriage is there's a couple other therapies. Radiant womb, which I would not suggest massage at this time, but putting essential oils on the lower abdomen. I did a whole class on aromatherapy for fertility. You can find it on YouTube. And I talk and go over specifics of aromatherapy for this purpose, or for fertility in general. So you would just apply this to the lower abdomen. Red raspberry leaf is another fantastic herb that's tonifying and supportive to the uterus. It's very nutritive. And then the last is going to be using flower essences when it comes to using herbs for helping to recover. Star of Bethlehem is the one that we use. And that helps to process loss. Okay, so flower essences are fantastic for emotional reasons. Okay, so those are the herbs and things that you can focus on. The next is going to be how to process your emotions and to reduce the stress of all of it. Counseling is amazing. If that's something that you have access to, counseling can really help you process everything. Or a good friend who's been through something like this before. Talking about it is really, really good and very helpful. Flower essences, like I just said. Also, using body healing therapies, having nurturing massage, going to the hot springs, taking hot baths, doing these very nurturing things for yourself is very helpful. There's also miscarriage support groups online. You might find that helpful, or you might find that's overwhelming and it just makes you even sadder. So, figure it out if that works for you. And prayer is another wonderful tool, as well as EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, which is a tapping that you can do. And that helps to process emotions and hard things that people are going through. So that's what you can do while it's happening. Post miscarriage, what after you've gotten your cycle, so you've had your miscarriage and you've gotten a real menstrual cycle. It's no longer the miscarriage; it's actually a menstrual cycle. What we generally have people do is we'll have them do a fertility cleanse, and then in conjunction with fertility massage. But the fertility massage should not be started until you've had one real cycle. We don't want to be doing fertility massage during the miscarriage. We just kind of want to let all that happen naturally. But first cycle afterwards, you can do the fertility cleansing and the fertility massage, and then include the therapies that are covered in my video, the ways to decrease the chances of miscarriage. Or if you know exactly what's going on and why it's happening, adding those therapies to it. So those are my suggestions for how to recover from a miscarriage, kind of the steps to take. I hope you found that helpful, but it's really a time for you to take care of yourself and process everything that's happened. And the biggest encouragement I could give you is time helps. Time does help. And to just keep moving forward and do whatever it is that you need to do next, the next step you need to take. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful day. And to those of you who are currently going through miscarriage, I give you many, many, many hugs. And if you need anything, go ahead and contact us. You can go to naturalfertilityinfo.com and click on Contact Us. If you have questions, our staff is available Monday through Friday. We're more than happy to help you and answer any questions that you have. All right, bye.